What's up, y'all? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. I have the new Halloween release from Bella Beauty Bar to share with y'all today, and that is the Vamp palette. I love the Halloween releases from Bella Beauty Bar. They're some of my absolute favorite palettes the brand has ever done, so I'm hoping that this is no exception to that. Now, this is a 15 pan palette. It does retail for $72, and I love the color story in here. I think it is incredibly beautiful. You've got your reds, your purples, this pop of blue, and these two murky muted tones down here really intrigue me. Of course, you've got your multi-chromes, your holochromes, and your just beautiful shimmery metallic shades as well. I'm so excited to sit down and play with this palette today. Bella Beauty Bar has one of my favorite matte formulas on the market, and their shimmers are always incredibly beautiful as well. Now, as always, the pans in here are magnetic, so you can pop them out, rearrange them, create your BYOPs, or you can do what I like to do and leave the palette as it is. Now, as of now, this palette is still currently available on the Bella Beauty Bar website, so I will have it linked down below in the description box, as well as everything else that I use to create these two looks for y'all today. So per usual, if you're ever curious about anything I use in any of my videos here on my channel, always check the description box because I squeeze as much information as I possibly can into that tiny little space. But let's go ahead and zoom in, prime my eyes, and get to creating our two looks. Alright, so for my first look, I really want to play with the reds in here and do something kind of deep and smoky, and maybe throw in a pop of purple as well. So I'm actually going to go ahead and start with this really pretty lavender shade right here. This one is called Predator. Now, I have already gone ahead and primed both of my eyes with my MAC paint pot in the shade Painterly, per usual. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade Predator up with a Singe Beauty EO2, and I'm going to start by popping this in to the inner corner of my eye. So I'm going to have this kind of be my pop of color in here, a little bit of lightness and brightness. I might put one of these shimmer shades over top, but for now I just kind of want to start here because I think I'm going to do some purple on the lower lash line, and this will just kind of tie everything together. But that is beautiful. It has nice pigmentation to it. I'm not getting a whole lot of kick up in the pan, and I'm not getting any fallout either. Of course, it's really hard to tell with fallout when you're going into such a small space right here, but it'll definitely start to go down the side of your nose and down onto your cheek if there is going to be any. Next, I want to go in with this really pretty red matte shade up here. This one is called Immortality. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 206 brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to press this in to the crease of my eye. So I don't want to go back and forth with like swiping motions or blending motions or anything like that. I really want to pack it on so I can get the full impact of this red shade. And then once I have it down where I want it, I can go back along the edges with that same brush and start to kind of distribute it and soften those edges a little bit. But if you take a red shade and you start to immediately go in and just kind of fluff it on, it's really going to have more of like a pink cast to it than a true red. So I mean, if that's what you're going for, definitely do it. But if you want the true opacity of a red, always pack it on the lid first. So I'm just going right along the edges of that red shade that I put down. I didn't pick up any extra product. I'm just going in with like the very tip of my brush and just very lightly blending it out and softening those edges. And then I'm going to go back with that first shade that I used, and I'm going to kind of reiterate it right here in that inner corner to really blend these two shades together, because if I start to blend them with this shade, it's going to take over and you're going to lose that lavender shade. Before I deepen up my outer corner, I want to put this on my lower lash line. That shade is called Threshold. So I'm going to go ahead and pick it up with my Singe Beauty EO5, and I'm going to start to kind of fluff this along my lower lash line. I'm not going to press it down here. I'm not going to tight line, but I'm also not going to like really blow it out a whole lot. I just want to make this a nice pop of purple down here and connect it to that inner corner, bring it all the way over to the outer corner, but I'm not going to like bring it up and over into my outer corner because I am going to reserve that for something else. Alright, so I'm going back in with that lavender purple shade called Predator, and I'm just taking that same brush and just kind of fluffing it along the edge of that shade that I just put down, just so we have a nice gradient. It kind of softens it a little bit, takes away any harsh line, and gives me a really pretty kind of flow down here. For the outer corner, I want to start with this shade right here and give me a little bit of depth, and then I might go back in with this black sequin shade over here. It has these really pretty red sparkles in it, and deepen it up just a step further. But we're going to start right here with this shade called Drained, and I'm going to pick that up with a Morphe M506 brush, and I'm just going to start to tap this right here on the outer corner of my lid. I'm going to kind of bring it out a little bit, giving me sort of a wing. I'm going to blend it into that red shade and just make sure that we have a nice soft gradient. That is a really pretty shade. Okay, so we're going to deepen up the outer corner a little bit more with this shade right here. This one is called Michelson. Y'all, I'm just noticing that the shade names on here, the whole theming of this palette is Vampire Diaries and Interview with the Vampire. You've got Michelson, Lestat, Claudia, Salvatore, Hello Brother. Absolutely love it. Two of my favorite vampire things in the whole world. Okay, anyways, I'm getting off track. So I'm going to go in with the same brush into that black satin shade with the red sparkles in it called Michelson. And I'm just going to pick up a little bit of it, and I'm going to go right here into that very, very outer corner. So I'm not bringing it over very far at all. I just want to give me a tiny bit of depth, and I'm going to bring it right here onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. Just kind of wrapping it around. And then once I have it down, I can go back with small circular blending motions. I am going to wipe off my brush real quick so it doesn't get away from me, and just kind of buff it into that other shade that I put down. Alright, so my lid is primed with my NYX glitter primer, and it's time to pick one of these beautiful shimmers to put all over the lid, and I can't decide which one I want to do. I'm stuck between these three shades right here, and I just don't know what to do. This one is really dark. I think it would look beautiful, very vampy. It's a really pretty like holochrome that has lots of sparkles in it, but then I really love these reds over here. So let's swatch the three of them out and see which one I want to do. Oh, that felt nice and creamy. So did that one as well. Oh yeah, all three of these feel so creamy, so beautiful. Oh my gosh, decisions are so hard. So here we have the first one. Oh my goodness, do y'all see all those flips and sparkles? Holy smokes. And then we have this really pretty true red shimmer. Ooh, I love a true red shimmer too. And then the last one that we have is going to be that one right here that has that little bit of like a pink to a purple flip to it. Now, realistically, any of these would look beautiful on the eye. Oh, decisions are so incredibly hard, but I think what I want to do, I don't know what I want to do. Okay. We're going to go in with the true red shade right here. We're going to do this one all over the lid. Maybe we'll bring in this one, and maybe we'll incorporate that one in another look at some point, because obviously I'm going to have to keep playing with this palette. So I'm going to go in to that really pretty true red shimmer shade up here, which is called Salvatore. And I am going to pick that up with, where are you? My BK Beauty 203 brush that I've really been enjoying for sparkle shades on the lid. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that shade up. And then where is my MAC Fix Plus? Found it. Okay, I'm gonna spray my brush with my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm gonna start to put this all over my lid. Oh my gosh, that is so incredibly beautiful. I'm gonna bring it all the way over to about right there. I think I'm gonna leave that little inner portion over or open for this shade right here, because I think that's gonna be a really good bridge shade into that purple inner corner and lower lash line. But I am going to bring this over to the outer corner, and I think that's blending really nicely. I don't think I need to bring in that deeper shade to kind of blend everything together. All right, so with the same brush, I just wiped it off really good. I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which is called Hello Brother. It's this one that I swiped on my hand that has that really pretty kind of pinky purple flip to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one up. Again, I'm gonna spray it with my MAC Fix Plus, and we're gonna pop this on the inner portion of my lid, but I don't think I'm gonna bring it over to the inner corner. I think I wanna leave that inner corner matte and just kind of have this be a bridge between the red and the purple. Ooh, that is so incredibly beautiful. All right, y'all, so this is the first completed look, and I think this turned out absolutely beautiful. Those matte shades are so pigmented and vibrant on the lid, very easy to work with, and those two shimmers that I chose are absolutely beautiful. They're nice and reflective, smooth, they're not emphasizing texture. I did get a little bit of fallout with the sparkle shades, but it just kind of fluffed away. It didn't leave anything behind, but I really love the way this look turned out. I 100% think, though, if I had gotten rid of the purple and wrapped the red and black all the way around and done that black holochrome all over the lid, this would have made the most beautiful red smoky eye, and that's something I'm absolutely gonna have to do. But let me show you what I used to finish off this look so we can go ahead and create our second look with this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liner in the shade Fig. I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and finished everything off with my Charmacy Volume Mascara. But let's do our second look, because for this one, I definitely wanna play with this blue and maybe like these tones right here. As far as shimmers go, I'm not really sure what I wanna do yet. I don't have a full look in my head. I just kind of have the beginnings of it, so we'll see what happens as we go. But I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade down here. This one is called Eternal, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with a BK Beauty 201, and I'm going to start to kind of fluff this in the entire crease of my lid, just kind of fluffing it out, blowing it out. I'm not doing anything precise. I'm going to do kind of a blown out look, something a little similar to what I did with the Devour palette in my last Throwback Thursday video. I want to have this to be nice and blown out. I'm going to wrap that around onto my lower lash line as well, but I'm not going to bring it over to the inner corner. I do think I want to put a shimmer in there, so I don't want to put a matte down first. All right, so next I'm going to play with a shade I don't normally play with, and it's this gray shade down over here, but I think it's going to go really well with what I have kind of built up in my mind. At least I'm hoping it will. But that shade is called Coffin, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up with my Singe Beauty EO3 brush, and I am going to kind of fluff this over here in my outer corner. That is a very pigmented gray shade. I did get a little bit of fallout, but I also went in very heavy-handed. I didn't think it was going to be that pigmented. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fluff this out here on my outer corner, and I'm going to kind of bring it up towards my brow bone. I'm really going to have to work to blend this because I went in way too heavy-handed, but it is blending out really nicely. I'll give it that. So I'm going to keep blending it out, and then I'm also going to bring it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well. Okay, so next I'm going to go into this deep navy blue shade right here. This one is called Lestat, and I'm going to go ahead and pick that one up with a Singe Beauty EO6 brush, and I'm going to pat this one in to my outer corner very carefully because I don't want to get any more fallout, because the fallout from that gray shade was not the easiest to get rid of. But like I said, I did go in very heavy-handed. I didn't think it was going to be as pigmented as it was. I thought it was going to be more along the line of that Seafoam shade that I put down first, but lesson learned and note to self, very pigmented, but I'm loving that blue shade. It is really pretty as well. So I'm just kind of pressing this on the outer portion of my lid, kind of bringing it up into the crease, and then I can go back in and sort of blend it out a little bit. And I'm also going to take it down onto the outer portion of my lower lash line as well, just kind of deepening everything up, wrapping that shade around and lining it up with what I have going on up here. All right, so once again, my eye is primed with my NYX Glitter Primer, and for all over the lid, I think I want to do a combination of these two shades right here. I think they look absolutely beautiful. They have a nice purple silver undertone to them. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this shade right here, which is called Daylight Ring, and I'm going to pick that up with my same, where are you? If I can find it, here it is, my same BK Beauty 203 brush that I've been using for shimmers as of late. I just have it wiped off really, really good. So I'm going to go into that shade Daylight Ring. I'm going to pick it up, and then of course I am going to spray this with my MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to pop this all over my lid. I'm going to bring it over to the inner corner, but I'm not going to bring it into the inner corner because I do want to go with something else in there, and I'm going to bump it up to these dark matte shades over here, but I'm not going to bring it all the way over. I'm just going to kind of focus this on the empty space on my lid. All right, so next we're gonna go into the other blue shimmer shade right here called Claudia. I'm gonna pick that up with my same brush and I'm going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus, and we're gonna put this on my lid right where that matte and that shimmer meet to kind of blend everything together. Now, funny little side story, I actually sat down and watched Interview with the Vampire last night. I was scrolling through HBO or Max, whatever you want to call it, and I was looking for kind of like a spooky movie to watch, and I saw that they had that movie on there. I love that movie. It is so good. It's one of my favorite vampire movies. That one and Bram Stoker's Dracula are my two favorites. So I just thought it was funny whenever I opened up this palette and started looking at these shades and saw that it was a combination of Vampire Diaries and Interview with the Vampire, because when I got this palette, I just opened it up to make sure that nothing was broken, all the shades were intact. I didn't really get like a good look at it or anything like that. I never usually do because I like to kind of have a first impression whenever I create these looks. So I just thought it was kind of ironic. But that is a really pretty shade. I am loving the blend on the lid, and I have to be honest, as much as I'm not a fan of like cool gray tones, this look is absolutely beautiful so far, but we still need to do the inner corner. So for that, I think what I want to do is go into this shade over here, this really pretty ethereal shade, which is called Skin of a Killer. That's actually a Twilight reference, so maybe it's a little bit of everything in here, but it is very heavy with the Vampire Diaries and Interview with a Vampire. So squirrel, I'm going to go ahead and pick this up with a Singe Beauty EO1 brush. Again, spray it with my MAC Fix Plus, and we're going to pop this into the inner corner of my lid. Now I think this would make a beautiful highlighter as well. I might go back and try and do that, but for now we're going to put that right there. Oh yeah, that is gorgeous. I love that. Okay, I'm definitely going to go back and add this as a highlighter. All right, y'all, so this is the second completed look with this palette, and this one is absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, I am not normally a fan of like cool tone gray shades, but this is incredibly beautiful, and I love the way that it turned out. I did go back in with that shade Skin of a Killer and throw it on my cheeks as a highlighter. I even put a little bit on my brow bone, down my nose. I got a little carried away because the shade's beautiful. I will say go in very light-handed because a lot does pick up. It can kind of get away from you, but it does have a translucent base to it. So when you look straight ahead, you're not going to see it until you turn and the light hits it, but absolutely beautiful. Let me show you what I used to finish off this look so we can turn the lights down. You can see all the sparkle, the shifts, and the glimmer that these eye looks have to offer, and then I'm going to give you my first initial impression thoughts on this palette. So in my lower waterline, I went in with a Martine Cosmetics eyeliner. This is in the shade, I can never remember the name of it, Anthracite. It's just a really pretty gray eyeliner. And then again, I lined my lid with my ZC liquid liner and finished everything off with my Charmacy Volume Mascara. Alright y'all, so first impression, I really like this palette. I had such a good time playing with it, and surprisingly, I love both of the looks that I created with this palette. I really went in with the cool tones to showcase them for y'all, how they work, the pigmentation and all of that, because like I've said before, I don't normally go for cool gray tones, but surprisingly, this look is my favorite out of the two, and I cannot believe I'm saying that. But overall, the quality, the formula in here is immaculate. It's exactly what I expected from the brand, and I love the overall theming. I love the very simplistic artwork on the front with the word Vamp, the blood dripping down, and I love that the theme carries on to the color story in here with the shade names. I had so much fun pointing those out and seeing all the different vampire references from TV shows to movies, books, everything. And I think the color story in here is really pretty. I love the mix of cool tones and warm tones. I think the mattes in here performed beautifully. I didn't have any issues as far as pigmentation, patching, skipping, anything like that goes. I did get some fallout with this gray shade down here, but I think that was more of a user error than it was actually because of the palette, because I did go in very heavy-handed because I wasn't expecting it to be as pigmented as it was, but in all honesty, I should have known better. So I will keep y'all updated in a palette ranking video of fallout and all of that, creasing, you know, all the little things things that I can't really give you with a first impression. But like I said, the color story in here is beautiful. The shimmers are beautiful. This is a fantastic release from the brand, and I think it's a lot of fun. Now, I do have a couple of other palettes that I pulled that I felt like kind of give the same kind of vibe that this one is giving. So maybe you can see some side-by-sides, close-ups, and kind of help you with your purchasing decisions. So the first one that I pulled out is the Recently De-Influenced palette. This was one of 2 Halloween releases that they had last year. I didn't think Basic Witch was anywhere near this, so that's why I didn't pull that one out. And the same reason for Strange and Unusual, but I wanted to show you a side-by-side of these two so you could see the color stories and kind of any similarities, differences, things like that. If I can line these up in the shot, I'm so sorry, I'm having some issues today, but you can see that there's not really any color overlap in here. The reds are very different, the purples are very different, the shimmers are different. So if you do have Recently De-Influenced, which is this one over here, I think these would make great companion palettes. But another one that kind of first came to mind when I saw this palette released was the Dead Roses palette, because this one is very pink, very purple, very red, and this palette is too. But again, oh my gosh, I'm having an issue today. But again, I don't think there's a whole lot of color overlap. There may be some similarities in here, but as far as the shimmers go, you're just not going to have the same shade. So again, if you already have this one and maybe you're looking to expand, this would be a really good one as well. In fact, I think all 3 of them would go beautiful together. But I hope y'all found that helpful. That is going to complete this video. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. Which look was your favorite? Did you pick up this palette? Do you plan on picking up this palette? I want to know it all. Let's have that conversation, light up that comment section, and as usual, I want to thank you all so much for watching my video and spending your time with me. It truly does mean so much to me. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up before you leave. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell so that you can be notified of all my future posts here on my channel. I do post quite a few videos every single week, and I wouldn't want you to miss one. But until my next video, have a good one. Bye.